Good morning, everyone. Welcome. So nice to have you here. Fasting space. Get to share a little space together today. Center ourselves here in this moment where we recognize we are not perfect and perfection is not required. Thank goodness, right? I was reflecting a little bit on this space, what it's been like over the times. How long has it been? I don't know. I'm losing track of it. We went weekdays in the fall, and I committed personally. I said I'm gonna commit to doing weekdays. uh, throughout the fall to New Year's. This is the idea of a habit, though. We give ourselves a frame. We set a perspective, and then we get in a groove, and then hopefully we can roll on with it. So I've just kept it rolling since New Year's, and just liking it. But perfection not required. For those of you who've been with me, we've had our share of fun. Like when my camera just melted down and shut off in the middle. It happened a couple times. When the internet went out and I started glitching. When I went live without knowing it because I hit the wrong button, and I do a little warm up because in the morning my voice takes a while to warm up, so I was singing for people without knowing it. Did you catch that one? Perfection is not required, okay? And it's fun. This is the thing I like about fasting space. It's just real space. It's in this crazy moment, AI, it's hard to know what is real. It's here's a space. There's real people coming together, sharing the reality of our situation. All of us doing our best to bring our real human experience and ideas together so that we can walk forward in health. Take a moment out of the craziness. That's what I want. A moment out of the craziness that is our lives in this moment to say, you know what? Not only is perfection not required, but right here in this moment, right now, everything is okay. Actually nothing else is required. We lack nothing. So we can find a mental space of peace and contentment, even in this moment, right now in this moment. Even if you are here, we got people here who are in the middle of a fasting process, really dialing in on a human experience that is a challenge, that is, at the same time, nothing, just a practice of openness. A space that we are trying to develop into something that is itself the wellness practice that further supports our peace and contentment, that it ultimately is not a struggle, that fasting is a practice that can reduce any type of struggle. Take complexity out, move towards simplicity. This is the goal of a fasting space. Not always do you start in a place like that. That is part of the mountain, right? We are moving toward a space. The mountain is you. We're looking through that. I'm going to give you some thoughts on that today. The mountain is us. We're on a path. We're trying to move directly toward, honestly, spaces of difficulty, right? This is a challenge in our life. We have some sort of obstacle. That might be a health space that we are looking at. Big thing I try to do, help people lose as much weight as they want or need, okay? That is a huge space that fasting can help with. Many other things that fasting can help with. And of course, we want every good measure of health to be coming our way. We were talking yesterday about the correlation of dialing in a fasting space and helping blood pressure. Of course, there's something that so many struggle with. Want to help everybody to do that. My experience, simple fasting, which is basically fasting within a day, maybe leading up to a whole day of fasting, and then putting that on some interval, maybe alternate daily fasting, we said might be the top of simple fasting. When you get to a space like that, okay, we're opening up a large amount of fasting space, but we're still getting nutrition, nutrients on like an interval. When we dialed in on our study yesterday, opening our mind to the practice of people doing extended fasting. Look where they were doing it, in a hospital. They're having all their electrolytes monitored, all the vitals and blood pressure monitored. Now, there's fair number of studies that we could go into like that, and the interesting thing is people doing these extended fasting, it's very, very rare that people have any problem from it. Fasting is a healing space. When you approach it thoughtfully, when you are taking care of yourself and you never push it into any space where you're feeling unwell, the body tells you you're feeling unwell. All right, there's some red flags going up. If you're seeing red flags, we stay away from any kind of red flag. We're talking yesterday, we were looking at the series, people doing this incredible fasting study in the hospital, 1963. And then Pat brought up this Dr. G, who I have been researching. There's different pockets around the world where people are doing things like that now. Not really in the standard, medical system, There are people who trying to bring it. I've tried my best to bring it into the medical system. But yeah, this is interesting. I don't know if you saw his video, is it Goldhammer, right? I ordered his book. I'll review it with you. The inpatient, he's got a whole wonderful facility in a beautiful place in California where you can check in and do supervised fasting, medically supervised with labs and vitals, all of this. See why he does it. Sounds like you're having a bit of an experience like the participants, the patients did in the study, that you experience the hunger, but when you push through it, then the hunger resolves. This is the space that is very interesting to flow through in our thinking about how do we actually find the easiest path. We were discussing yesterday the counterintuitive process. It's sometimes leaning through the difficulty. So we talk a lot about never forcing anything. We don't want to push anything. There's no expectation. Nobody signed a contract, right? Everything we want, voluntary and open, but then we find the edge also in the thinking where we realize, this is, in my view, how fasting becomes the most empowering health practice. When you realize, I am not so dependent on food as I've been taught and conditioned to be. Actually, I'm strong and powerful. The energy that is inside of me, that is body fat, that I've seen an obstacle, it's part of me. It's actually power, and we can use it. And that process of using it, leaning into it, is actually the process of releasing it. Say, not always easy to do, but we can do a difficult thing. As we do that difficult thing, we push through. Is that the process, like you were saying, that breaks through a plateau, that smashes through barriers, that say, I'm conquering it? I'm going to read to you later a passage, a quote, just powerful like that. Try to inspire us for our day, our life. Big, big quote. And then in the midst of that today, we're going to also do some reading and thinking about perfectionism. Do you ever struggle with perfectionism? You're in a space like this. You're trying to do something difficult, and it's like very hard to move forward because it's like, anytime we're trying to do something new, anytime we're trying to stretch ourselves, we're not very good at it, right? We have to learn, and oftentimes isn't the case. We have to try and fail, and we learn from our failures and mistakes. This is the process of growing, and that can be a painful experience. It can be discouraging to try something and fail. To, in many times, feel like you're starting over, where it's like, you ever feel that? where it's like back to square one, and it's like, I don't even know if I have enough energy to start over, right? And so many times it's because we have the mindset of perfection. You don't start at the top of the mountain. This is what I want to tell you. We don't start at the top of the mountain in any kind of health practice. And what we've been talking through over the months on the channel here is just trying to map out the reality of the situation that we have in the health landscape and realize the situations that we are facing in our life are very abnormal and they are very difficult. It is difficult to change in any domain of life, and then to change how we're eating, which is so fundamental to our emotional and physiologic state in the body. We are entering like a very emotional and difficult space. This is how we have so much grace with ourselves, recognizing, okay, perfection not required. We're building the mindset that recognizes what we really want over perfection is progress. That we have the mindset of moving toward the goal that we're having. Because perfectionism, have you ever experienced, can be just paralyzing. We end up not doing anything because it can't be perfect, so we don't even move forward. What we want is just small steps. The other book we're reading through, Atomic Habits, like just taking the step, trying to get 1% better every day. Perfection not required. Listen to this little section. There's a little section here from our journey that we're taking up the mountain that we're trying to do. When we expect that our work, so the same by work meaning like any task we're trying to accomplish. When we expect that the work must be perfect the first time, we end up getting into a cycle of perfectionism. Perfectionism, they say here, isn't actually wanting everything to be right. It is not a good thing. It is often a hindering thing because it sets up unrealistic expectations about what we are capable of and what the outcomes could be. Perfectionism can hold us back from showing up and trying. This is what I'm saying, where it can get paralyzing, right? Have you experienced that? And of actually doing the important work of our lives. This happens because when we're afraid of failing or feeling vulnerable, right, this is what happens when we open up ourselves. When we try to change, right? Like it opens up the possibility that we don't, that we can't, that we fail, right? Of not being as good as we want or as we want others to think that we are, right? There's a big thing. We fear judgment from other people. We fear judgment from ourselves. We end up avoiding the work that is required to actually become as, they say, that good, like as good as we could be, to actually be walking our path. Path of being an actual human being in the world, right, is not a straight line, right? We are all walking in a space that it's like we're walking in a direction and we hit an obstacle and we're trying to navigate, and life is messy and difficult, and many things happen in our life that we wish hadn't, right? And so we have to navigate all these things. This is the reality of what it looks like. Perfection is like an idea. It does not really exist even in this reality. We end up sabotaging ourselves, they say here, because it is the willingness to show up and simply do it again and again, right? Without perfection, right? That actually ultimately brings us to a place of mastery. Absolutely. I'm going to show you this quote. Hey, I should float us. I was going to float us out over this space while I was reading. I filmed this at at the end of December. This is a little lake not so far from my house. I think this is like half an hour. I stood here for half an hour behind the camera and just watched the sunlight filter through these trees. Beautiful, calm, peaceful place. I have a bunch of things. Sometimes I've done this, where I bring some footage in. I try to film, water where we can have an actual reflection space. What we're trying to do in this space, reflect deeply on the most important thoughts. How do we build the strongest mindset? Finding a natural space somewhere like that, being able to see the deer out your window. What a beautiful thing. I'm glad you can experience that. Space like this, to me, open. See, we can't see the reflection. It's frozen. It's covered in snow. But you see, that's the reality. See, perfection not required. We can have a reflection space. We're standing out on the lake and reflecting, even in the middle of the winter, even when we cannot see the reflection so much. Still there, right? Here's how they go on here. They say, don't worry about doing things well, just do it. And I would say, just do it to the best of your ability with grace and compassion for yourself. Try would be another way. This is what we're doing, right? Everybody is trying things. We try our best. This is all we can do, right? All we could ever do. We couldn't do anything else than just try our best. Isn't that most of the battle? It's at least half of it, right? To build up the internal courage to try to I am going to take a step forward in health today to the best of my ability. I am going, we're in a plateau space, right? We've come up against our ceiling. Or say, I have stretched myself to this point. And realize what an incredible mindset it takes to even try something like that. Feel so good about that. And realize, have an opportunity to explore the space. This is what I would say in a space. Transform, a plateau experience. We aren't looking at this as some bottom thing that we're going to bounce off of. See, we are climbing up a mountain. We have reached into a space. We've stretched ourselves to the place that it's new. That's the reality. This is a new space we're exploring. This is what we're learning from it. We say, I tried something, I couldn't do it. Now we learned, right? What is it like to be in that space? We're learning. Here's what they say. Don't worry about writing a bestseller, just write. Don't worry about making a Grammy-winning song, just make music. Don't worry about failing. Just keep showing up and trying. At first, all that matters is that you do what you really want to do. And from there, you can learn from your mistakes and over time get to the place where you really want to be. Yeah, this is such beautiful thinking. I say, this is it. This is the space where we're in right now. We're floating in this type of space. Easy to say. Appreciate this comment so much. Easy to say don't worry about these things, but then how do you actually not worry? Thank you for sharing that. There's everybody share your reflections on it. I will give you mine. I think it's a mindset. And this is what we're trying to build. I think this is really the part of the mountain that we're really trying to build, is to be able to do that. hey, if it's a spiritual tradition that brings you to some place like that, if it's a perspective of any kind, this is these are the beautiful practices that people all over the world from every tradition have found value in. So whatever it is to you that helps you to find a place of trust, like you're saying, to believe that the future is going to be better than the present. Do you believe in yourself or in something greater than yourself that gives you the ability to trust? That says things are going to work out. I learned a new word the other day. I haven't really learned it. It's the opposite of paranoia. I should probably look it up. It's something like just panoia or something like this. We look it up sometime. I wrote it on my list to do a whole, session on. Like if being paranoid is the idea like everybody is out to get us, the opposite of that is the belief that everything is supporting us and that actually the future is going to work out okay. That whatever you believe, other people, like do you believe other people are here to help? Friends and family, that the universe, that whatever you believe about the reality. See, that's looking toward the light. Here we're looking toward the light in the sunset. Trusting. Don't worry. Not worrying takes a lot of practice. I appreciate that so much. Practicing trust. Okay, there it is. This is another thing that is exactly on the path that we say right here. You're not an expert at it. There's no perfection. We don't have perfect trust. We don't have perfect belief that everything's going to work out for us, right? That's what worry is. Worry is that we don't have that trust. We say, what if this happens and what if that? What if I try and fail? What if I do these things and it doesn't work? So the practice of what we're trying to do, I say, is part of that. To practice not worrying. I think not worrying, to frame it positively, would be finding a mental space of peace and contentment. If you are at peace in your spirit and your very being, if you are feeling content, isn't that the absence of worry? This is what we're trying to do. And so fasting in the physical body is giving us a mirror of that space in the mental being. To fast through a space and find contentment without food, we say, well, that is a difficult space. The body has to adjust to that. To flow through a mental space without worry, like most people we're always worrying about something. I know this is something I struggle with. We worry about every domain of our life. What about some financial thing? What about my kids? What about the relationship? What about the politics? What about everything? As we practice fasting, as we're developing that ability, building patience, finding peace in this domain over time, despite the struggle, finding it to become a place that is easier, right? This is the goal, so that we can lose weight and optimize our metabolism, right? At the same time, using that space to find a space of peace and contentment in our mind. And then these two flow together as we are more relaxed. Think how this is affecting the body. Not that we can stop stress from happening, but that we cope with it in a way that helps to keep our hormones balanced, keep stress hormones not going up. We can experience stress in our life and flow through it without it negatively impacting the body, at least to such a great degree. When we amplify the anxiety, when we lean into it, and we start shallow breathing and we cycle, that's what really amps up the physical side of the body. Stress hormones pouring out, body realize we're not safe. This is what it's communicating. When we're having anxiety and panic, body says this is not safe, sends out the stress hormones, amps up the blood sugar, can drive insulin resistance, feeds into weight gain. You see, it's a whole cycle. We want to reverse that whole cycle. We don't want to be working against, very hard to work against hormones in the body. Hormones, very powerful. We want to give ourselves every advantage. Only two little paragraphs left of this book. This little section I'm giving us here. I schedule 1 hour a day to discuss all my concerns in prayer, and then I trust and watch. Hey, that's beautiful. Thank you. You know, the we could have an interesting, whatever you would call it, philosophical, spiritual discussion, on an interface between a prayer and a meditation. One person calls something a prayer, one person calls it a meditation. Is either of these things to me a very similar space, opening up a space of openness, of connection, which is something I resonate much, especially looking at the sunset, looking up into the sky, connecting with something greater than ourselves, whatever that is in your tradition, is an incredible opportunity. And I just speak to anybody. I welcome anybody of any belief of any kind to be here. We are sitting here in a health space, somewhat of a scientific space. So, I review medical studies with you. But opening up our mind that even if you are a strict materialist, you believe that there's only atoms and molecules and there is nothing bigger or greater. I say, hey, that's okay. No judgment. That's totally fine. I have many friends like that. I love having conversations with people of any persuasion. But I just, what I tell you in a space like that is, what if you just pretended that it was true, and what if it helped you? What if you opened up your mind and did the idea of it, that there might be something bigger? Could it help you actually move forward in health? If you're struggling in a space, you say, I am feeling anxious. This is negatively impacting my health. I'm having trouble getting through a food craving. I'm having trouble not eating something that I know I don't really want. We're in this very conflicted space. It's like, what if you just lived as if it were true? That's what I would say. And that helped you find a mental, emotional space that actually helped you move through it. Many people experience that. And see, to me, that's taking us outside of, the normal medical system. The medical system is like that. It's totally cold and analytical. It doesn't open up space for anything beyond the material, which, it's the interesting state of reality, right? It's not, you can't run an experiment on it, This is like the thing of science, This is, say, we've become scientists, everybody, in that we believe, well, science is like all that exists and we can't measure, certain things, therefore they don't exist. It's like, well, what's your experience? It's like many people, experience benefit from this type of thinking. We just want things that benefit everybody in any way. That's what I want. Hey, buy a new journal and new pens. This is what I tell people. Didn't we do a session the other day? I said we want to equip ourselves with every good thing to accomplish the health goal that we want. And one of the most powerful ways to do it is journaling, right? A journal is like becoming your own therapist. And so it's like just to write it out, to have high quality paper to write it on, to have a beautiful pen where the ink just flows out. It's like removing every barrier. That's the analogy that we want for everything in our life. We are trying to remove every single barrier that is getting in the way of our health. Right? Is perfectionism one of those barriers? That's what I'm trying to smash today for you. Perfection not required. When worry creeps into my mind during the day, I say nope. That's for the prayer hour, and I make myself move on. Do something positive. I love this thinking. So many good thoughts here. Yeah, make yourself move on. That is so good. When we think back into the series we did in the fall through that book, Thinking Fast and Slow, right? As we're really trying to get into the mindset, the way the mind is working, how there are these priming effects that are conditioning ourselves to think in certain ways, and that we have only so many limited slots that we can use at any one time. We can load in the information that our subconscious is using to drive us forward. And so I just telling ourselves, not allowing it. So you see negative thoughts coming into the our loading zone there, we say, nope, we are loading in some better thoughts and moving forward. Love it. Love it. Here they go on in this section. The truth is that we actually do not accomplish great feats. And for our purposes here, I say a great feat, just accomplishing our health goal. That would be our great feat, right? We want a certain amount of weight loss. We want our blood pressure in a better space. We want our blood sugar problem to diminish, right? This is a great feat of health. We do not accomplish great feats when we are anxious about whether or not what we do will indeed be something impressive. Okay? When we're worried about our performance, about measuring up to something, say we rarely accomplish something great. We accomplish these sorts of things when we simply show up and allow ourselves to create something meaningful and important to us. I love that sentence, right? I love the word create. This is what I've been sharing about our process. To envision our health process as a creative process. I've been reading through that Rick Rubin book, Creative Act. To see ourselves as an artist, that we are shaping and creating this beautiful expression of life. Think about art, right? You think about a statue. Statue can be molded and shaped and created. That's an artistic expression. How much more then? Think of other types of art. Music, how about theater? Theater, that statue's coming to life, like we are animating it, having an artistic expression through a theatrical performance. Now we come out of the theater into real life. It's like our whole life, an artistic expression of health. Love that. Do we create something meaningful and important to us? We say this is what we're really trying to dial in on. When we ask the deep questions like, what do I really want? Who am I? You know? What are the experiences that have true meaning and importance to me? Right? To make a health path as difficult as it is to walk forward through, that this is what has meaning, to simply, like they say, show up in the space. Here we are together. We're showing up in the space. Say, how do we stop worrying? We're opening up the space to practice it. And I love this insight to just say no to it, to recognizing. See, that's building awareness of it. We build awareness, and in that space of awareness, we find grace and thoughtfulness for ourselves and practice it. And as we do that, we find that we are getting more skilled at it. This is how they conclude this section. Instead of perfection, focus on progress. Instead of having something done perfectly, focus on just getting it done. Like, look at that. Pat was saying in the space, made it through this fasting space, used every fasting aid. You say, was it the most pure fasting that's ever been done in human history? We say, no, it's not the most pure thing, but look, you got it done. You made it through that space. You had a benefit from it, and you practiced it, right? See, it's perfection not required. From there, you can edit, build, grow, and develop it into what your vision is. But if you don't get started, you will never arrive. And if you don't, and I say to get into that space, if you don't practice it, you don't rep it, you don't get in a groove, it's hard to do all these other things, to edit, build, grow, develop. Life is messy. Life can be difficult. Life can be overwhelming, right? So perfection not required. This is how we have grace with ourselves through all of these things. Let me share this quote with you. Here we go. Have you seen this before? Theodore Roosevelt. Now, you know how things are. People have a quote. It's written in the past in a paternalistic age. It's all written, to men. So I have the actual quote here. I'm going to edit it in more gender-inclusive language. I try, okay? Think about this quote and our reflection on perfection and about what it means to abandon perfection and show up with a powerful mindset that is moving in the direction to the best of our ability, no matter how it actually turns out. It is not the critic who counts, not the one who points out how the strong person stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the one who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, and who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But one who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends themselves in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if they fail, at least they fail while daring greatly, so that their place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who knew neither victory nor defeat. Just powerful to read through it to me. That's the type of mindset that I want everyone to develop, to be in the arena and to see yourself in the arena, to say, hey, nothing is perfect here. I am fighting for what I believe. This is kind of got like a gladiator sort of vibe to it. It's like, hey, I am in here. I am fighting. I am doing my best. I am showing up. I am moving toward what is valuable and important to me. Say, there are no guarantees, right, in life. How do things turn out? But we move toward things in the face of critics. Look, this is all the judgments of perfectionism that are saying, you try to do anything, the critic is there. Maybe we're our own internal critic. It's not the critic that counts. Right? Not people who are not on our path, right? Look what it's pointing out. Oh, look, this person tried something, it didn't work out. All these sorts of things. Just forget about all that. What matters, like we're here on our path. We're not walking anybody else's path, but our own path. And so we let go of all that. All the judgment from other people and ourselves. All the expectations that things have to be perfect. Look, we don't even know that it is here. It's like, does it work out or not? We don't know. Like, that's the journey. But we do our best. Yeah. Yes, if there were guarantees, the wins would be meaningless. This is the thing, and so we want to celebrate them. Celebrate, and we get a little win. You move even a molecule closer toward the goal. We say, like, look at this. On the path, like moving in the direction. We are overcoming perfectionism. Is just one obstacle, next obstacle down on our way toward our goal. And remember that section we did the other day? The goal is just 1 point on a curve. We're on our curve looking like this, right? 1% better every day. Takes us 37 times better by the end of the year, right? This is geometric increasing. We're going to hit that goal at some point. We saw yesterday, beautiful writing from the 1963, the doctor saying, it's like, we got to like widen our perspective a bit. Take a 2-year time frame. That's what they were suggesting, which I agree. Somebody say, hey, I'm 1 year into a process. It's like we took the first step. I was like, now we're taking another, right? Year 2. It's like we're stepping. Yeah. Celebrate the daily wins enough. Yeah, let's find a way to do it for ourselves. Celebrate the daily wins. The daily win is the only thing that could happen in that moment. We could not do anything else. We cannot win the whole 2-year curve. We can't do that in a day. The only thing we can actually do is win a day. And so if we do that, it's like we just accomplished 100% of what could possibly be done in this day. It should have a party. We should have a party for ourselves. I loved that thought yesterday, fasting party, right? Like what if we had the whole celebration around it? Wouldn't that be a fun healthcare system? If truly the most important things that we can do in health are actually these fundamental basic things: opening up fasting space, choosing the healthiest food, moving our bodies in healthy ways, getting our mindset dialed in the most strongest and most powerful, optimistic, positive, enthusiastic way that just powers us forward. Like what would be the process that would facilitate the most joy and positivity in that? Like, imagine a healthcare system as like a pep talk and like a cheerleading squad and like just like a party. Like, would it really help? I don't know. I am I'm not like my own personality. I'm not like much of a cheerleader. But like maybe I should be. I mean, I kind of want this space to be like that. Uh, Fun, encouraging. I want people to come here and feel encouraged. And yeah, let's share the struggles. I lean into that a lot, right? Because the struggle is real. We want to share the positive. All these things come together, right? Celebrate the little wins as much as we can and build up the positive enthusiasm of it. Love that. Sometimes I got a couple tracks on here, the positive. One of these I have them labeled on my little thing, the energy set. Energy set of music that I've done. Sometimes little party session. We can do some more of that. New Year's especially, I did that. Fireworks. We need some fireworks in just our everyday, okay? That's finding gratitude, right? What is the win that you can have today? Have you already seen it and found it? Find your one win today. Lean into it, and let's celebrate it tomorrow, whatever it is, okay? So have a beautiful day. Take your most powerful step forward in health. Keep the mindset positive. Tell any negative thinking that comes in there, say, nope, not today. Took care of that. And yeah, you've already won. We're up. We're taking action. We're moving forward, finding as much joy, peace, contentment in this moment as we can. Really beautiful. Appreciate the discussions and thoughts. I look forward to chatting with you again tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.